We are live, Mr. Gracey. What is going on?
Yo, yo, yo.
I just realized.
Back again.
Yes. Look at us, and we're reversed in our normal position.
Yeah, what happened?
I don't know, dude. Normally, I'm on top, you know what I'm saying? And you take it. You're the bottom feeder. I mean,
I'm top today, man. Fuck this.
Yes.
Sick of being on the bottom.
Chad, I got a good question for you, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever picked a safe word with a chick?
No.
Okay, then
I have not.
If my next question was, have you ever had to use it, would be no to that
Never.
as well.
I don't know. I mean, I like kinky stuff, but I'm not into that crazy bondage shit where you have to have a safe word. Like, no, thanks.
Same.
Like, no one's tying me the fuck up. No one's doing anything. No.
Yeah.
Ain't happening.
No, thanks. Yeah, if a chick's like, so do you have a safe word? I would be like, yeah, stop would be like, where I would go.
I need to word is don't.
Yeah. Like, in other words, when you say no or stop, I stop. So why do I need a fucking word like fire hydrant instead?
Yeah. I just will never be in a position where I need a safe word. I'm good.
Right. But what is the thought behind it? Is that they're going to push you to the point where you're saying no, but when you really want to say no, you got to use that word?
Yes.
Dude.
Yeah.
As soon as I say no, I've reached a limit to where no. Like I'm not putting out.
Right. Well, some people are, they want to be punished. They want to be beat. They want to be just bossed around by a woman. They want to be, they want to be dominated. And it's a lot of it. Do you ever watch Billions on?
Yes.
And so the head of what's Paul Giamatti's character.
Awesome character.
In the first 2 seasons, he's seeing this crazy dominatrix. Because I've heard, I don't know if it's true or not, but I'm sure it is. But these high.
Wait, wasn't that his wife, Chad? Wasn't that his wife in there?
No, his wife did dress up as a dominatrix for him.
Oh,
but
okay.
He had another dominatrix. But these high-powered men that that boss around people all day, they like to be dominated. Some of them like to be dominated by a woman.
So strange.
But then they have a safe word because they're push my limits, inflict pain on me, and I'm gonna say no, but keep going. Then if it gets too much, they have to have the safe word. Crazy.
Oh my god! When that crazy video came out, 2 Girls 1 Cup came out. Dude, check this out. This is how I saw this video, bro. Mm-hmm. Didn't hear about it, didn't know about it. Go on my friend's computer. And find a folder that only had 2 videos in it, and that was one of them. 2 Girls 1 Cup. So I put it on fucking some. I'm like, oh my god, disgusted. The second video, dude, was this old fucking dude tied up butt ass naked, spread eagle and spread arms, and some chick with fucking a leather lip, barefoot. She's like, are you ready? He's like, yes, ma'am. And she just runs up, kicks him in the balls, dude.
Yeah.
And good. I'm like, what the fuck, dude?
That's crazy.
And then she just kept doing it. And while those fucking 2 videos are disgusting and strange to watch, I'm like, what is my boy doing with these on his computer? Why are these the only videos here? Is he into it? And I didn't have the, I didn't ask because I was afraid to get the answer. You know what I'm saying?
There was some crazy S&M club in I think in the old meatpacking district in NYC, Manhattan.
Yeah.
And our record labels, some lady, we were out to dinner and we were going to go to a strip club, and this lady's like, let me take you to this place. And we're like, what? So she takes us to this fucking place. It is a full on S&M crazy ass club. When you walked in, that's what you saw, what you just explained. A dude was already strapped up on the X, getting beat by a dominatrix. That's the first thing that you see when you walk into the room. We're like, holy shit, okay.
Wow.
And there's no drinking in there, but you can order sodas. But then
thank God.
We were only still 23, 24. This is probably right around when Throwing Copper came out. So, a little bit advanced in our age, but still 4 dorks from York that had never seen this shit in person.
Right.
So we're walking through this place, looking around, and we're going through the back. We're just taking this tour. We look like these crazy idiots walking through this, but we look to one side, this giant black guy is fucking this dude in the ass
Oh my God.
right there. And then we all look to the right, and there's a giant black guy with a giant penis jacking off in a cage. We're like, oh shit.
Wow.
We just kept looking around going, what the fuck is this?
For some reason, I picture the next part of the story is, and then we all look around and Chad Taylor's gone and he's
right. No, we didn't lose anybody.
Okay.
We didn't lose anybody. We kept everybody intact. We were holding hands like the buddy system.
I like how you said we walked in and the guy was all X'd up or something. Like you knew the term for it, dude. Do I need to dig
I don't know if that's a term. I'm just saying he was strapped to the X thing, like
got you.
Leg spread, arm spread.
Got you. I'm like, wait a second here. Is Chad being pretending he was a fly on the wall, but he was the one throwing this party?
That was me whipping the guy. No,
yeah. He's on the X stand that we call it in this world. Maybe that's where Elon is. He's so into X and everything's X.
Yeah, he probably has a dominatrix.
Right? He probably would be.
Yeah, he's the kind of guy that probably would.
Yeah, the richest, kind of most powerful man in the world besides President Trump, right? I mean, this guy's launching our rockets into space. He's fucking pretty nuts.
Mm-hmm. Let's not give any fuel to the left.
Oh yeah, true. That's the next thing they'll be talking. He looks too good.
No, he's a depraved sex addict.
Yeah,
firebomb some more Teslas. Dude, they're busting the shit out of the people that are firebombing Teslas, dude. They're putting them in jail for like 20 years.
Really?
As they should. Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, okay, let's just say you don't hurt somebody with what you're doing. You could, you know what I'm saying? Like you're fucking putting people in danger.
Oh, absolutely. They're burning down chargers in residential neighborhoods. They're setting multiple cars on fire.
Charters, like charter schools?
Chargers.
Oh, chargers.
Tesla chargers, yeah. And they're burning down. They're throwing multiple cocktails into stores, firing rifles into stores. Like it's insane. All because this guy is working with Trump and trying to save the government money.
Yeah.
Sounds like a great cause to burn down shit for. I mean, it's the left. They make no fucking sense. They make no sense anymore.
Well, I was just going to say, isn't what they're doing technically making him more money because he's going to get the insurance money and then have to rebuild like the Chargers and shit. The Teslas that they're building, same thing. These people are going to get their insurance money and either get a new Tesla or get that one fixed. It's like they're just putting more money in his pocket, it seems.
Oh, yeah. Well, who said it's logical? There's nothing logical about the whole movement. It's just complete people that are completely off their fucking rockers, thinking that they're some kind of resistance against Elon, who's trying to save everybody money. Okay.
Absurd.
Yeah, let's burn some shit down for that. It's the same with this. I mean, that whatever the senator from Maryland, and now he had lunch with Abrego Garcia down in El Salvador. Oh, he had a tear in his eye. Like, so what?
Wait, Chad, so that was the dude we played yesterday, the video?
Yeah, that same guy.
So he got to hook up with him?
Yes, he had lunch with him.
And
he's like getting all emotional about it. This is a guy who's in his constituency has a literal hostage by Hamas in Palestine, right? So
wait, what?
In Gaza, there's a hostage from Maryland in Gaza.
Okay.
Never hear him talk about a word about that.
No.
There also was a woman killed by an illegal alien in Maryland, a Maryland woman killed by an illegal alien. Never hear him talk about that. But his soapbox is, I'm going to go to El Salvador to talk to an MS-13 member, wife beater, who's been deported.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to bring him back so he can be deported again. This is, I mean, who votes for these fucking people?
Like, the whole thing is just absurd. Like, if he had, I just don't understand how he thinks he has a course of action to bring this guy back from his country he was born in.
Right.
Like, and not like bringing him back, like extraditing him because he's like wanted for a crime in America, but like bringing him back for what? Like like you said, just to deport him again because he's here illegally.
Right. It's I mean, the things that the Democrats, put themselves up to, or the hills they want to die on, are just they're just ridiculous. They just keep looking like the most ridiculous people we've ever seen. It's wild, man. And it's like, does this guy really give a shit about this guy? No. He's using him for political points that aren't landing because no one in the American public gives a shit except for a very few small amount of lefties who are trying to be anti-Trump. Trump deported him. We got to bring him back because Trump deported him. It's like it's illogical. Doesn't make sense.
Definitely illogical, and the fact that like people are putting up with it is illogical. Like it's just fucking insane, dude. Like,
yeah, I mean, on the other hand, it's fun to talk about. On the other hand, I'm all about it. Keep doing it. Keep doing it, Dems. Keep making yourselves look ridiculous. Keep making your favorability polls go down and down and down. People are just leaving.
It's insane. And they're leaving in troves, dude. Who were the celebrities? Some celebrities actually kept their promise, Chad, and I think moved out of the country.
Oh, Rosie did, but she's coming back apparently. Ireland didn't want her.
Rosie
O'Donnell.
She did. So she went to Ireland.
And they're trying to get rid of her. They're trying to kick her out. Great. They may have already.
Good. Rosie O'Donnell.
I'm all for the liberals to leave the country. Great. There's less of you to vote.
Agreed.
Perfect. And there's this whole movement of liberal women not wanting to sleep with Trump voters. I'm like, great. Okay, fine.
Well, can you imagine that's a thing, dude? Like,
it's when did
but like, this wasn't anything. Like, did you know anybody's political affiliation in the 90s? Like, and who they were voting for? Like, it's just become so fucking magnified and dividing. It's insane.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll fucking tell a chick I voted left just to get her to blow me, and then let her know, hey, by the way, you're blowing a Trumpy.
Tell her while she's blowing you.
Yeah. What's the worst thing you could hear while giving Willie Nelson a blowjob?
I don't know.
Hey, I'm not Willie Nelson.
Okay. So who's Preston Marshall said, hey Chad, Steve Gorman, former drummer of Black Crowes, has a really good radio show at KQRS in Minneapolis. Oh, cool. I didn't know they had a radio show. Very cool.
Shall we put that up? Is this it? This one?
Yes, that's the one. Yeah, Steve Gorman, he's a great drummer. I guess he left the band and wrote a book about how crazy it was. The brothers, was it Chris and
oh yeah. James? No. Rich. No. Chris and Rich,
yeah, they fucking hate each other.
Yeah. Well, not anymore. Now they're back touring or something.
For now. They've gone through different phases, just like the brothers in
Oasis.
Oasis, yes, thank you.
Money talks and fucking, they're like, we don't hate each other that much that we can't get together for a tour here.
Yeah, exactly.
Why don't we bring on our next guest there, Chad?
Let's do it.
Otherwise,
we'll just be jabbering away.
Yes, we won't stop. What up, Clint Wells?
What's up, guys? How's it going?
Howdy. Good, man. How are you?
Doing well. Happy to be here. Thank you for the invite. It's good to see you guys.
You're very welcome. Thank you for coming on. And where are you, in Nashville?
I'm in Nashville, yeah. Home for another 8 or 9 days before we go back out.
Cool.
Dude, I knew you had a podcast, but I did not realize that you had that real radio podcast voice there.
I've been podcasting for like 8 years now, which is pretty wild.
Awesome. Wow,
totally.
So I've logged some time, yeah.
And I saw the podcast is Metal Up Your Podcast.
Metal Up Your Podcast. It's an all Metallica podcast.
Yes.
They were going to call their first album Metal Up Your Ass. And so 8 years ago, my co-host at the time, we thought it was clever to call it Metal Up Your Podcast. I wish I could change that, but that is what it's called. It is, as of now, 8 years running, the largest, most popular Metallica podcast in the world.
Wow.
Whatever that means.
Can I give you a good Metallica story?
Well, I was going to see if you wanted to come on the podcast after we do this, not tonight, but at some point in the future. I would love to hear Metallica stories from you.
Oh, I can tell you a great Metallica story, and it's a longer story that involves Mr. What's his name? Oh shit,
Lars?
The drummer? Lars?
No, not Lars. No, God, you fuck. I'm trying to remember, and you keep shut the fuck up, man. God, Marilyn Manson. God damn it, Jesus Christ.
That's a totally different band, but okay.
Oh no, but there's a whole Marilyn Manson story that then evolves into a Metallica story. It's great.
Oh boy, wow.
Are we saving it for Clint's pod, or are you breaking it out?
Yes, we will. If I'm gonna go on, why not?
Well, I don't mean to come on y'all's show and dictate what we talk about, but that would be a good story for the pod.
You completely jacked it.
Sorry, dude.
It's a fun. It's a little bit of a long story, but it's hilarious and fun. And Metallica's in right at the end, and it's great.
That's
well,
so
you also
funny.
have crossed at the Woodstock gigs, right? Or did y'all ever do any other kind of stuff together other than the Woodstock stuff?
We played a K-Rock weenie roast with them one time.
A weenie roast?
Yeah, the K-Rock.
Wow.
Remember the K-Rock weenie roast they used to have in Irvine?
Yeah.
So we played one with them. It was us, the Chili Peppers, and Metallica back in the day. This is probably like sometime in the 2000s.
Yeah, well,
it's probably early 2000s.
Wow.
And then our old security guard, this guy named Tom Robb, who was our security in '99, he went on. He's like Metallica's main security guy now. So,
okay.
And he actually started a whole company that Metallica uses, and he's doing all the biggest acts now. His security company, but he was Kurt's personal guy forever and ever. I think he may still be, but yeah,
it's a serious job, man. Remember Ronnie the limo driver was Howard Stern's security dude? Yeah. I never understood that. 80-year-old
He's not a very intimidating guy, is he? Yeah.
No. He talks like he is, though. You know, fuck you, and so
pissy.
Yeah. Clint, so talk to us about how you got into how you became a musician. What was the first instrument you picked up, and how and why?
Oh man, well, I'm 41, so it was quite a long time ago at this point. Always loved music. I'm from Alabama, small town Alabama, raised by single parent latchkey kid shit. So music was sort of a gateway out of all of that. So always loved music. MTV, pretty big. Grew up on MTV, which is why I like Madonna and Prince in addition to Metallica and Live. And it was early 90s for me. Like if you were a kid growing up with that stuff, it was very genreless. Yes. And I didn't really get tribal about music till I was in my teenage years, got snobby. Now that's all melted away too. But my best friend when I was 12, he got a guitar and he was really good right away. I was not very good. It took me a long time to get good, but he was really good right away. And then he like devoted his whole life to it. I didn't see him for like 6 months. So I was like, I got a guitar just so I could keep hanging out with him. That was how I started to play music.
Wow.
Because he really disappeared into it. And so, he taught me some chords and then he could just solo over the chords. So I remember my first memories of playing guitar were just barely changing chords and then him sort of selfishly soloing over it for hours. That was exactly. So that's how it started.
Somehow showing off.
Well, he was just getting his reps in, I guess. And then it was a way for us to hang out. So he still makes music too. He's in a cover band down in Birmingham somewhere, but he was always one of those guys where he could play like Van Halen perfectly. You know what I mean? Like he could read tablature or like learn a song and then it would sound like Van fucking Halen. I was always like, I could always get like 70% there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I could, but I was always more interested in doing my own stuff. And so I think that's why our trajectory, he ended up in a really successful, like kind of tribute cover party 80s band. Cause he can play all that. I know I hesitate to say real bands, but you know, original music bands that are touring and, you know, really making music. You know what I mean?
We just found out a couple weeks ago from the previous guitarist for Candlebox, The Gracious Few, toured with Live a little bit, that there's good money in cover band touring now.
Tribute bands.
For sure. Tribute band.
Kind of the same thing, but yeah. And I'm friends with a guy on Facebook, and he asked me to come to see his tribute band this night in where was it, Garden Grove. So I drove up there, and it was a whole night of tribute bands in this little tiny amphitheater. Held about 1,000 people, but it was like a Social Distortion tribute band, Talking Heads, Blondie, and I think the Ramones. But
nice.
And they're but this guy was telling me, he's like, yeah, we travel all over the like Southwest. We make really good money doing all these tribute fucking tours. I was like, okay, who knew?
Dope.
And they're great musicians, and I think it's all corporate. Yeah. It's all corporatized out. Like I've got friends that have those gigs, and depending on what the gig is, whether it's like a wedding or an event for a thing, they'll put the bands together based on what the gig is. Oh, it's an R&B wedding thing, and they'll just get called, and they sort of float in and out, and these sort of corporations own them. It'll be like a yacht rock thing, and there's that same version of that yacht rock thing in Chicago, in New York, in Nashville, and the players are all fluid, you know, and they get to see their kids man. They get to see their kids at night. So who's really the fool, you know?
Yeah, right. There you go.
They get to be home.
I have a serious question, Clint, about Metallica.
Oh boy.
Well, because so me as like not the ultra Metallica fan, like I like their music. I always thought that the Black Album was like one of their best albums. And then every diehard Metallica fan I met, or I don't know if they're like being snobby or whatever, but they're like, that album sucks. All the ones before it were better. And I'm like, really, dude?
Yeah, we call them trues. They're the trues.
That is the case.
Yeah, they're the ones who believe the Black Album was a big sellout point. The songs got more commercial, groovier. They were on MTV. They had big hits. I get it. I've had to talk with these people a lot and obviously deal with Metallica stuff a lot in the last 8 years, but they thought like their band changed. Now, I was 9 or 10 when Enter Sandman came on MTV, so that was my online point, and I love everything they did in the 90s. Because if they thought they hated the Black Album, they really hate the 2 records they did after that, Load and Reload.
Oh, yeah.
When
they cut their hair.
Exactly. Yeah, Kirk's wearing guy liner. Lars and Kirk are kissing on the cover of a magazine. They cut their hair. You know, they're playing alternative kind of. It was really more like Corrosion of Conformity and like Alice in Chains. It was very inspired by what was happening in the 90s. They're playing Lollapalooza. So all the metal heads, which I don't consider myself one, by the way, they took that really personally because they felt like they'd sort of been betrayed by the more grassroots punk rock attitude, heavy metal Bay Area thing. Whereas again, going back to the MTV thing, I never even considered that. I just liked all of it. Like when I got the Black Album, and then they're like, "Oh, you should hear Kill 'Em All, and you should hear Ride the Lightning." I just thought it was all awesome.
Yeah,
it didn't seem like 2 different bands to me. But I do understand that if you came online with Kill 'Em All, and then fast forward and they're on MTV and Until It Sleeps, and it's slow and it's melodic. I guess I get that. But yeah, people really do see the Black Album as like a demarcation line of when Metallica got bad.
Was Load a picture of a fucking jizz load on the cover?
It's the artist's sperm mixed with bovine blood.
Wow, dude.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
And then Reload, huh?
And then Reload was urine with the same artist. And that guy was like James Hetfield called him a sick motherfucker.
Yeah.
But that guy, yeah, he's famous for a piece of art he called Piss Christ, which was like a crucifix of Jesus in a jar of urine. So that's what they were tapping into, in the mid 90s. Yeah.
Did you like Some Kind of Monster?
I think every musician, it's like the greatest band documentary of all time. I mean, it's required watching. We watched it on many a bus. I did like it. It's interesting to have a documentary of one of the world's biggest bands falling apart and losing all of their ego and confidence and whine. They're sitting there going, "What are we going to do?" And there's some really amazing shit in there that's fascinating. It's quite embarrassing. Got to be quite embarrassing.
I mean, I love the whole. They had the therapist involved, right?
Phil
tried to talk him through all this stuff, and because when Live came back together after we broke up in 2016, I was like, we should have a band therapist. No one wanted to do it. Like, okay.
Well, probably you probably wanted it because of the documentary. They probably didn't want it because of the documentary. They're like,
I wanted it to ground everybody back to zero and like start fresh and get all the shit out and
but Chad,
get everything out on the table and like, okay, you pissed me off doing this, and I'm pissed because you said this, and I wanted to get all that out on the table. And everyone was like, "Nope, we're just gonna move forward and not talk about anything in the past." I'm like,
"Do you think it would have worked?"
Sounds good. Probably not. There's some narcissism there that's that's hard to break.
Well, I was just gonna say, and Chad, you had like the least amount of skeletons in the closet, so you of course would have been like kind of cool airing out the dirty laundry and stuff, because you would have not maybe come across looking like a shiner in there, or maybe you and Patrick.
I wanted everyone to get along, but hey, what do you do?
Rodney King style. Can't we all just get along?
That big article that came out about what article I'm talking about? I don't remember who put it out, but it was like a big in-depth article.
Yeah.
Was it Rolling Stone?
Yeah.
I guess a few people read that. So how accurate was that article? I mean, that was like in-depth about all the business stuff. Was that an accurate portrayal of sort of what happened?
I think we're talking about the same thing. Are you talking about the article in Rolling Stone that talked about our business partner who?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. No, that was not an accurate portrayal, and actually portrayal. Thank you. And actually, Chad Taylor has now gone through a settlement. He got sued for defamation for that article by Bill Hines, our business partner, or former business partner. He's still one of my business partners, but he got sued for defamation and had to basically sign an affidavit saying that it was all a lie.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Clint, that
and
he
was misled by the company that we started called UFD. We started this company called UFD. We were building a fiber optic network between New York City and Ashburn, Virginia. We were doing this during the time we were not in the band with Ed, and Bill Hines was our main business partner. And we got the line finished, but the management took over as we left and to go back on the road, and they basically took the company from us and sold it for pennies on the dollar. And they misled Chad because Bill Hines there was two board members that controlled the company, Bill Hines and this guy named Lou Appel, who was the son of the billionaire who started the company with us. Well, didn't start it, but he was our first funder, this guy named Louis Appel. And so his son took over when Louis died. They had this plan to get rid of Bill because they wanted his board seat. And so they co-opted Chad into this, fit him all these lies that he then put in the Rolling Stone, which made Bill look worse and worse and worse, so that they could eventually just sell the company for pennies on the dollar. And that's what they've done. So they fucked us all out of any money.
And about 2 to 3 weeks ago, Clint, the defamation thing went through with between Bill and Chad Taylor, and Taylor basically, rescinded everything he said in that article and took it all back.
So I doubt that Rolling Stone will do a retraction because they don't.
It's usually how it works, right?
Yeah.
And you know what's funny, Clint, is they spoke to Chad Gracey, or they briefly, but they got his side of the story and just decided to leave
I spoke
the
to him
truth
for 90
out.
minutes, and they put 5-10% of what I said in there.
Yeah, because you probably weren't, supporting the narrative they wanted to put out.
Right.
No, definitely not. I was telling the truth
Yeah.
because I knew what was going on the whole time.
He wasn't being salacious, as they say.
And Chad, Chad didn't think he was lying, but he was lying based on what he was told. So
yeah. Well, it's a bummer.
I'm
sure many people have told you, and the band was just so special. And I went and saw the new version of it on this Stone Temple Pilots tour, and I know some of the guys that are playing with Ed now, and they're friends of mine. All this blah blah blah, but not the same. It's just the four of you guys together was so special.
It was
so
magic.
Special.
Yeah.
If you're referring to Zach Loy, he's the man, by the way.
I am referring to Zach specifically.
Zach's great. He's a great
good friend
player.
of mine.
Yeah. I love Zach. He's a great guy, great guitar player. It's just the only person that doesn't think that it was magic is the guy that is out there with 3 other dudes right now.
What's so funny?
He thinks it's all because of him.
But he kind of had, let's not count this time, but he had his Ed K solo records to be proven that it's not. You know what I'm saying? He knows that.
But a narcissist doesn't ever think they're wrong. So
it's crazy.
He just didn't get the right support from the radio station or the record company. Right. That's what he's going to tell himself.
Right. That's right.
I mean, we had this EP when we were together that we put out in 18 or 19 called Local 717. Right.
Right.
And the whole tragedy of that is that I'm not playing drums on that.
Right.
So I injured myself in 17. I fell, and my daughter took me out in my kitchen, but I fell and ruptured my tricep tendon in my right arm, 90%. Right. So we bring it, and that was on a Wednesday. On Saturday, we were playing this Arroyo Seco festival in LA, Pasadena. And I called Chad. I'm like, I fell, dude. My tricep tendon severed in my right arm. Like, I'm fucked. So I ended up playing. I ended up playing the show, but I play one arm. We bring in this guy, Robin Diaz, who ended up playing drums with Ed for a little while. And Robin's a great guy, amazing drummer. And he knew all the live songs, so we didn't have a chance to practice with him. So he just showed up. I still played drums one armed, and I was kind of running the show. And he would just play my parts, or something akin to them, through the songs. And I got healed that was in June. By August, I was healed, ready to play. And I guess at the time I thought it was Chad Taylor, but I guess it was more Ed. They decided they want 2 drummers on stage. And I'm just like, what the fuck are we doing this for? And I've been told in hindsight, it was like, oh no, well, we didn't know if you were going to be okay. And I'm like, I'm fully healed. Like, I was playing. Anyway, so we had 2 drummers for a while, which was stupid.
Wait, Chad, I got a quick question here. So, because didn't Ed at one point like want you behind a plexiglass? Like, didn't
I did that for a while. I did that in the 2000s. I played behind plexiglass. Yeah.
So it's like he had like a problem with the drums or something, and now he has two drummers.
Right. Well, exactly. That's the whole. That's another thing.
That just happened to Ringo's son. Also, he just got bounced from the Who. I don't know if you guys kept up with that.
I did see that. Yeah.
It just seems like, and I've been in enough bands, you know, it just seems like he wanted to change, you know, and it's like when you want to change, you'll find you know what I mean? It's the drums are too loud, and it's like, well, now you have two drummers. Right. That's double the amount of drumming. Plus, you're all probably wearing in-ears, and
yeah, we were wearing in-ears. Well, most of the 2000s, Ed would only wear one ear, and so the drums were too loud for him, which was ridiculous. So anyway, so Robin came on, and then between 18 and 19, we were making that the EP. I didn't even get to hear the songs. All of a sudden, I hear these songs that Robin had played on, and I'm like, what the fuck is it? I mean, it was like one of probably the biggest betrayals of my life.
Yeah.
To hear music, live music, that I wasn't even privy to hear. Then there's another drummer playing, and I was just like, wow, this is fucked up. And it was crazy. So that was a bad thing, but those songs were like crap anyway.
Yeah.
So at this point, I'm like, well, I'm glad I didn't play on it.
The Venus for Furs cover was the best thing on it.
I played on that.
So that's why then. But for real, that was a great cover song. I never even heard it before, and I was like, yo, this is fucking. I was actually scared. I'm like, this is a scary song because it's like real eerie.
Right. Yes.
I get scared. Clint, so I was scared of like hard music back in the day. Like Korn used to like give me nightmares. But then I realized that they were cool. Like now I'm into it, but like I was a little younger and I was like, this is fucking dark, dude.
It's supposed to scare you. It's supposed to scare you a little bit. I mean, I think live music was scary. You know, the subject matter was, you know, Damn It Otter Creek was scary. White Discussion was scary. TVD was scary. Pillar of Davidson was scary. The whole Secret Samadhi album is scary to me.
But is it as scary as
no?
Yeah, that's scary, dude.
I love it.
We were just talking about on the Metallica podcast. We were going through like the first time we saw Metallica, and it would have been around the time that I first saw live. Actually, so 2000 they did a tour with Korn. It was Korn, Powerman 5000, System of a Down, and Kid Rock. It was like a festival. The doors were at 2:00. Here's the thing, though. When I was 17, I hated all those bands. I was very snobby, and I was a very big Metallica purist. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And so we had to wait all day for Metallica. You know, the doors opened at 2:00. Georgia Dome in Atlanta. We're 16. I don't even know how we got there. I don't even know how we got the tickets. I can't even remember. But anyway, we get there. We sit through all that, and we're doing the kind of immature 16-year-old thing where we're doing this during Kid Rock's set. We just really were very snobby. And Kid Rock had a big hit that year, sampling the Metallica song "Sad But True." It was called "American Badass," and that was just anathema. Like me and my little buddies, we were in a band. We played Metallica songs and live songs in our basements, and we were just snobby. And it was the first time I've ever seen Metallica. Get to finally, they're supposed to come out. It just felt like torture. Hours of watching bands we don't like. I like those bands now, and I respect them more now. But I was 16. I was a little shithead. So the boys come out. Now, they normally play this an Ennio Morricone song called Ecstasy of Gold before they come out. So you know that something's about to happen. No Ecstasy of Gold. The three of the guys minus James Hetfield come out. Kirk Hammett's wearing a cowboy hat. I remember looked at my friend and said, this is bad. Kirk's wearing a cowboy hat. This can't be good. James Hetfield jet skiing that day, pulled a disc in his back. James Hetfield's not going to be here tonight. Ooh. We're going to do a makeup show in a month. In the meantime, all the members of Korn and Kid Rock and System of a Down are going to come out and help us play like 90 minutes of a patched together thing.
Wow. That kind of sounds dope though, dude.
Well, it's
not
on
for him.
YouTube.
Yeah,
that
right.
show is on YouTube, and I did an episode where we went and watched it and sort of did commentary on it. Dude, when I was a kid and watching that, it was devastating. I went back and watched it, and I was like, this is actually really cool that these guys, on such short notice, were like, I'll try to play guitar on For Whom the Bell Tolls, and I think I know the riff to whatever, you know?
Wow.
Yeah.
You mentioning Korn and Korn being scary made me think of that, because I really hated that band at that time.
Do you know the story behind Korn? I don't know if this is true or if this was like those 90s rumors that were started, but supposedly somebody in the band was banging a dude in their butt, and when he pulled his dick out, it had corn on it. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Not heard that one.
I didn't know that, and I wish
wow,
I
am I breaking am I breaking news on the Gracious 2 here? Bobby, look it up.
Guess.
Tell me where the
Bobby,
name
look it up.
corn came from. Bobby, let's go. Now watch. We don't know for sure, but let's see. I might have been onto something here.
That might be in the same column as the Marilyn Manson had a rib removed so he could give himself
Right.
blowjobs. That might be in the
Sounds
same
the same vein.
90s.
Yeah, that's true.
That's hilarious.
But you know what's fun about the 90s is you'd hear a rumor like that, and there was really no great way to verify it. So it just became lore. Now everyone has access to everything, and everyone is dumb as shit now. In the 90s, you'd be like, oh,
it's
maybe
ironic
that's true,
that we have the most access to information we've ever had, and most people are stupid.
Yeah. Misinformation all over the place. Oh, Bobby says not true. Fuck you, Bobby.
See, damn it, John.
Exactly.
How does he
know? He's Googling
Bobby, how
wrong.
do you know?
They switched up the truth on us. What was some other ones I heard? I heard that all the guys in live were gay. Did you ever hear that?
What's that?
All the guys.
I
heard the drummer and the singer used to blow each other after the shows all the time. No, but Clint,
I don't remember that happening.
I do remember there was like I remember when the 5 album came out, which I like everything up to Birds of Prey, including Birds of Prey. After that is where I kind of lost touch with the records, but I remember when the 5 album came out, there was some interesting lyrical content on there that you know what I mean? My friends were like, what's this deep enough? I'm in the club with a Swatch watch. And
do you know what time it is?
We were all sitting back going, what the fuck is he singing about?
Which
now?
honestly,
what's going on here?
To be honest with you, Chad, I really love that song, but it was a head scratcher. I remember my friends were kind of starting to. I saw you guys on tour and you played deep enough, but it was a co-headline with the Counting Crows. I think it was 99 or 2000. So it was before that album came out. And you guys played deep enough, and we were all like, "Oh, a new, that back then a band like Live would play like a new song, you'd get excited, like you'd want to lean into it instead of being like, what is this? I can't find this on YouTube, But I actually met you guys before that show. I must have been 15 or 16. Well, it's interesting because you guys did like a fan meet and greet, but nowadays every band ever, including us and every band I tour with now, they do these paid VIP experiences. But back then you guys were just doing like a radio thing. And I didn't even win tickets to it, but me and my friends, we were so excited for the show. We were also big Counting Crows fans that we just went to the venue. I don't even know if you remember the venue. It's called Oak Mountain Amphitheater.
Oh yeah, I remember
in Pelham, Alabama.
Absolutely. We played there a few times, but no.
They actually
did they?
They actually just tore it down. Like maybe 2 months ago.
Who was first? Live or Counting Crows?
But it was at that place.
We would alternate, but
Counting Crows went first.
Yeah, that's the way you have to see it, because I saw the one where in PNC Live went first, demolished it, dude, just rocked the whole house. And then Counting Crows came on, they were great, but it was just almost like acoustic set, like he was sitting there around here and all that stuff. It was still great, but it just like it should have been the opposite, where they came on and kind of lubed you up, and then fucking Live came in and really gave it to you.
It was a good night of music because Counting Crows had an album out called Hard Candy that's pretty cool. And so, but I do think it was better that Live ended it. But anyway, we were just hanging around the venue, and some venue person just let us in, and we went to that meet and greet. And I had a pretty funny exchange with you, Chad, because I didn't know what to say. And because after you guys came out and played 2 songs, you played Iris and Dolphins Cry. No, you played Dolphins Cry and Dance With You.
Acoustically, right?
And, I'm a professional touring musician. You guys definitely looked like acoustically on 4 stools. You guys looked kind of like you didn't want to be doing it, which I completely get. None of us were bummed about it, but we did sort of notice that who wants to go do that, especially if you're not making money.
I forget why we were doing that exactly. It was something to do with the radio stations, whatever. But anyway, sorry.
Well, then after you guys played the songs, it was like a reception. Like people were just sort of standing around. And U2 had an album that came out, All That You Can't Leave Behind, had just come out. So this must have been 2000. And you were just standing there. I was standing there, and I was like, hey, I read somewhere that you like Larry Mullen Jr. And you were like, oh yeah, U2 is awesome. I love Larry Mullen Jr. And I was like, cool, man. I really like Larry Mullen Jr. also. I'm also a fan.
Yeah.
Just a total Gurmy dork. I'll never forget
He
that.
is one of my biggest influences.
I also have a disposable. Is he? Well, yeah, you guys play so similarly. And I think I just like read an interview where you were talking about him. And I was like, oh, I know what I'll do. I'll talk to the drummer for live about U2's drummer. But it just didn't go anywhere. You know what I mean?
Sorry, man.
Well, Chad, that was probably like a lot of that was probably like a lot of people's thing, right? Like, because they knew you and they knew he was a big influence on you, so you might have been asked that question numerous times. Like, oh, do you like?
Yeah, he's the only member of U2 I haven't met.
Nuts.
Yeah, I've met
really
Bono, The Edge, and Adam Clayton a couple of times, but never met Larry. Yeah, we were supposed to open, like they asked us to open for them in '94. I forget what tour they were on, and we did not. We turned them down because should have done it, but whatever. We had a theater tour booked, and we were going to headline. We wanted to be a headline band, so we were like, we're doing this tour. You know, we want to become a big headliner. And so, in hindsight, we should have done that. But Larry, turns out, is the guy who basically picks the openers, and I think we were one of the only bands that's ever turned them down.
Wow.
And so, cut to 2022. We have a friend named Brian who is also friends with Jerry Harrison, who produced our records. They both live in Mill Valley, and somehow they had a dinner with Larry Mullen in New York. And Brian Smith says, "Hey, I'm good friends with the guys in live." He's like, "Oh, those guys." So he's still pissed at us. I was like, "God damn it!" So if I ever do meet him, I'll be sorry.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry. We turned you down to open.
It's a pretty big gig to turn down.
Well, we belabored
but I get it too.
the choice of doing it because it was like, man, we want to do this. We were going to sell out theaters. It was like 2,000 to 3,000. We stepped up from clubs. We were like, man, this is gonna be freaking great. And then we got the offer. We're like, shit, we would love to open for U2. But
Chad, you said in hindsight,
you were probably going to make. You said
in hindsight you would have done it. Are you being serious with that? Because do you think it could have changed like the course of live? Because that 94 tour, 95 tour had to be a big part of your guys' climb to success. Or
Did I say in hindsight we would have done it or should have done it?
Yeah, you said.
Well, I mean, just in the, I mean, in hindsight, we should have done it in the like just to have the experience to do it.
Yeah.
But I don't. I mean, I guess it would have been good for us as well to be in front of them, a big giant tour. But we also really wanted to do our own headline thing. So.
Well, and also like from '94 to '99, 2000, you guys were hot. I mean,
that was like the big step up for us. That theater tour in '94, because we had done. Throwing Copper, we started in small clubs. We had some success from Mental Jewelry, got MTV play, but it hadn't gone gold or anything, Mental Jewelry. But we put out Selling Drama, and we were starting to get a lot of traction. And we were doing clubs, then we went to theaters and amphitheaters, and just took that climb. It was great.
Dude, that you talking about Mental Jewelry just reminded me another awkward thing I said to you, because I love the song. Mother Earth is a Vicious Crowd, and I was pretty proud of liking it because it was a pretty big deep cut. And I was like, I mentioned that song to you, and I was like, "What do you think about that song?" And you were like, "Oh, it's great. It's fine. I like it. It's a good live song."
We put it on the album.
Just conversation killer. Yeah. I don't know what I was expecting from that. So Mental Jewelry. Yeah, so you didn't play theaters until after Throwing Copper until like Lightning Crashes was already
no,
a hit.
No, it wasn't a hit yet. We between like Selling Drama, I Alone came out, and then Lightning Crashes didn't come out until '95 because it came out like then the record took a whole year to go number one.
Crazy.
So, Lightning Crashes comes out, and then
wow,
what was that? That was probably the spring of '95, and so in April. Well, it came out April 18th, so that April 18th of '95 is when the record went number one after coming out a year before.
Is that the Oklahoma
we were on tour for Selling Drama, and probably I Alone was coming out when we were doing that theater tour.
Are you guys the only I think that's some sort of a record to be on the charts for a year?
It was the longest the longest it ever took for a record to go number one by being on a chart. But then I think Sheryl Crow broke the record or whatever it was. Yeah,
that twat.
Was Lightning Crashes? Did that immediately take you guys to arenas?
Well, we did amphitheaters that summer, in summer '95.
Okay.
I remember we were playing this acoustic gig in probably February of '95 for the record company out in LA, and Lightning Crashes was just about to come out. We had made the video, and I forget, Richard Palmese, I think, was the president of MCA at that time, which became Universal. And he comes over to us, and we're all standing around this table, and he's like, "All right, boys, you'll be buying houses soon." And we're just like looking at him like, "Yeah, whatever. Okay, whatever you say, dude." And finally, I mean, he was right, because when that song came out, and we all of a sudden we were in amphitheaters, and we're like, "Holy shit, this was crazy." We were one of the first bands to sell every ticket in the World Theater in Chicago.
Wow!
Like we sold the whole place out, and we were they were like, "You were one of the only bands to ever do that. Every ticket was sold." We're like, "What? Come on!" A lot of big bands have played here, but whatever.
Clint, I want to ask you something, and don't just like agree with me because we're on with Chad and he was in live. Have you found as a person who's a fan of music, going to concerts and stuff like that, like there's a difference between like people who consider live their favorite band and then people who consider like other bands their favorite band? Like I feel like there's some thing with a live fan, like with when they consider them their favorite band, where there's like the passion is there and there's like no coming in between. That is what I've gotten from a lot of fans that I've come into contact with. Is this a crazy thought I have, or do you see something similar?
No. There's definitely not. There's a point where there's no casual. I think Live had a bunch of big hits, right? So that's going to get, and played Woodstock and all this, and was on MTV. So you're going to get those people. And then I guess maybe Live was even lumped in with grunge, which I don't really see it that way. But the thing that I love about Live is it was actually really deep shit. It was like I would put it more in the REM, U2-ish. And I am a big fan, so I'm going to be biased here. But I think if you were tapping into that, if you were listening to Gashead Goes West and pondering that, you're going deeper into that thing. You know what I mean? Like, I also think the records got a little stranger. Well, at least Secret Samadhi I felt like was a little stranger. So you probably lost casuals there too. Although some pretty big hits on that record too. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say, but I have found that if I say Mother Earth is a Vicious Crowd and you know what I'm talking about, you're an extremely passionate Live fan for sure. If you know what Death of a Dictionary is, then you've gone deep. And if you're the kind of person that goes deep into music like that, which I always have been, I dive really deep into anything that I love, then yeah, you're going to.
So they're going deep enough, is what you're saying. Sure. I gotcha.
Exactly, with a Swatch
dude.
watch.
My favorite.
Yeah, I mean, I love that record.
My favorite gay lyric off that record. You ready? Wait. Something about fucking going to Jimmy Buffett with your dad.
Yes,
he's rapping in it.
Yeah, had to go to Jimmy Buffett with your dad. That's He talks about and he what he says in that song. This is even me as a deep hardcore Live fan. I was like, what is he saying? He said, with Live, it's Game 7.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It was, NBA.
What is that song?
No,
Life
not
Marches On, or what is
Transmit
that
Your Love?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, Transmit Your Love.
You do know your
shit.
shit.
Transmit Your Love. Well, he says bow everybody in the hotel. The bows.
So
we're like,
what's funny about that is, so we around '99, Ed went to Chad and said, "I don't want to write to your ideas anymore," because he was, Chad would say, "Hey, I wrote that song." Maybe mistakenly say I wrote that song, but what he meant was he wrote the riff that became that song. So he'd say that in the press, and that pissed Ed off all the time. And instead of like talking about it as men, Ed would just let it fester. And so it got to the point where Ed was like, "I'm not writing with you anymore." Okay, so that changed the whole dynamic of the band, and that's how Five was born. Like, that was just, Ed wrote all these songs. I was in LA. He was in LA. He's like, come to the studio. I'm cutting some stuff. I'm like, okay, cool. I go over there, and I didn't really know about this conversation that Chad and Ed had. I just knew something was going on between them two. So I started playing drums to these songs, and it's like, okay, this is. I mean, some of them are cool, and some of them are all right, whatever. And then we had Chad and Patrick come out, and they played, and we thought it was just going to be demos at first, and then they made Ed was like, no, this is the record. We're like, okay. And then we made Birds of Prey. And then, songs from Ed's Mountain. That was just like, come in and be studio musicians because here's the songs. You have no input. We're like, okay.
Oh, wait, so Chad, the first time you played to the songs on 5, you thought like these were just demo songs, and then like you guys would basically eventually be in the room kind of writing the album together. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Wow. We did get in a room in Nashville, actually. We rented a studio and wrote some of the songs that are on Birds of Prey, like Lighthouse.
Do you remember which ones?
I think Lighthouse. She had, because that's a rocking one,
maybe
dude.
I love She. I have to go back and listen to them. I forget some of the titles.
My favorite live record for a very long time was Distance to Hear, and I remember when I got 5, and I would try to locate any DNA from the Distance to Hear, on the new record, and could not find. Maybe in the song The Ride, there was a little bit of like kind of a classic live thing, but I remember when I heard Birds of Prey. This is back at a Coconuts when you could listen to the CD on the listening station before you bought it, and I was checking out the new live CD. Did not like the song Heaven. I do kind of like it now. I've had a kid and shit, but did not like it at the time. But I heard the song She, and I was like, oh, this sounds like Distance to Hear. Bought it immediately.
And they did that clever. They put that as like the second song on the record. So you're like, all right, they're giving me la da 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 in the beginning, and then this next song is rocking. You're like, all right, cool. We're in for a treat. One thing I want to say about Transmit Your Love. That song is banging despite the lyrics in it. Like, it's the band in there that really makes that song fucking tick, because I want to love it, but it's just like when I'm singing along, I'm like, oh, I cringe like saying some of the lyrics. You know what I'm saying? But I want to love it.
Yeah, I don't play that one in the car loud driving through Nashville, but I know every second of the record, and I really. And then Overcome was a huge hit, but
that was later too, right, Chad?
Man, I love this on the
Overcome.
Ride.
Well, I mean that became a hit because of 9/11. Like all these radio stations just simultaneously started playing that song somehow. We were just like, what the fuck is going on? And we tried to scramble with the record company. We had 3 great opportunities on 5 to blow up that record and make it do much better than it did. One was Deep Enough. It was going to be in the first Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
And it's in the movie credits apparently at the end. I don't know, but we were going to make a video with the director and do all this shit, and the record company said, "Nah, we're not doing that." And we're like, "Are you serious?" And then we had a song. What's the song? Forever might not be long enough. In The Mummy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was that the Glenn? Yeah. Was that the Glenn Ballard?
That was
the one Ed wrote with Glenn Ballard.
No.
Huge. I'm a huge Alanis Morissette fan. That's how I actually met Gigi. Cool. Was touring with them last summer, but Glenn Ballard did all the Jagged Little Pill stuff. Pretty big Glenn Ballard. And he did a Dave Matthews album I like a lot too, called Every Day.
I'm not saying anything away from Glenn Ballard, but it was just Ed and Glenn, and we were like the fucking side musician. We might as well have just been fucking 3 yahoos that he brought in to do the session. It was just like,
I think that's his MO.
Right. He did that with Dave Matthews Band with Every Day. And if you listen to that band, Chad, it's a complete departure from what they did before. And he did exactly what you just said. Him and Dave wrote the songs, and then they handed the musicians and Dave Matthews Band, this is what you're playing.
Right.
So it's
they basically mapped all the parts out like through MIDI, VSTs, and then they were like, play this exact. They told the Dave Matthews Band, play this exactly.
Insane.
Like,
well, at the time we were not very happy about that, but anyway, that was supposed to be. The record company again would not support that as like a track from the movie, and we made a video for it, but like they wouldn't promote it. And then Overcome happened with 9/11. We're just like, okay, I guess the record company doesn't give a shit about us on this record.
Now I think, Chad, because when that happened, like you said, everybody and their mother, like radio stations, MTV, VH1, all started playing Overcome and the video behind it and stuff like that. I'm wondering if you're part of the propaganda machine. Like, how did you get your song all over everywhere so quick, dude?
I'm in the Illuminati, dude.
Yeah. You hear this, Clint?
Told you before.
I heard it here. That's the Korn story, and Chad Gracey's part of the Illuminati. Do you think the label was trying to sabotage the record?
I think it was that classic, the regime that was there when you were doing well had all departed, and you're just some band that no one signed that's there now,
Yep.
And we weren't at that point not big enough to like warrant the full push of the label, even though it was a whole new regime. So we were kind of big at that point, but not big enough for them to go, let's put a lot of money behind this. They were off to whatever new band was on their label.
Meanwhile, you're playing. Sorry.
Well, I was actually going to ask that exact thing, John. Like, what were the shows like post Distance to Here, which I saw you guys in an amphitheater? What were the shows like through Five and Birds of Prey? Were you guys still playing amphitheaters? Or were you noticing were tickets reflecting the sort of change in the power of the records?
We were playing smaller places. I mean, I forget what we did for Five.
In America, but still overseas, they were doing amphitheaters and shit. As far as
we were doing arenas and stuff in Europe and Australia. But
was that a combo you guys would have even had as a band, like tracking how the record's resonating with the fan base, and are we making new fans? Are we still selling out the same rooms? Was that something that you guys would even talk about?
We would not have conversations about that. We should have, but no, we wouldn't.
Were you guys traveling in 4 separate buses?
We had 3 buses on Distance to Here, and I think we had 2 buses on. No, we weren't traveling separately on Five.
I thought. Well, when I met you at that Counting Crows gig, we're just
separate buses for sure. That gig.
Well, no. Ed and Chad had a bus, and Patrick and I shared a bus.
And the bus pulled out. Okay.
We got good. Clint, sorry, we had a little bit of.
And this is just. I had no idea. Now I live on a goddamn bus, but.
Right.
Can you hear me now?
Sort of.
You guys hear me now?
As soon as you said, yeah.
Is it working now?
Working now.
We can hear you, but you're a little.
Well, I saw a bus pull into the venue, and I was like, "Oh, that's the band. The band's here on the bus." And then another bus came, and then another bus came, and I remember talking to all these buses, and they were like, "Oh yeah, they don't." It was like some grizzled, grumpy, jaded person. They were like, "Oh yeah, they don't hang out. They travel separately." Or so. It was like one of the first times I ever thought about that I imagined a band not sliding down the fire pole together, living in the same house,
right?
Like Beatles,
Well, yeah, that's where both Chad had kids, and he brought them with him, so he wanted his own bus. And I think Ed brought his. I think Ed had a kid then, so he wanted his own bus. And then Patrick and I shared a bus because we didn't have. I definitely didn't have any kids.
And you were single.
Had kids then either.
And you were single, Chad. Yeah,
I was single on that tour. So
him and Adam Duritz would have a little, camaraderie after the shows, party it up a bit.
Sure, that was fun.
Yeah.
He's such he's got no he doesn't realize how cool he is, or how banging his legs. Like, no big. He just drinking some drinks with Mr. Adam Duritz, partying it up after our sold out show. It's normal stuff.
It's fun.
So Clint, so you said you're 41. Is that the ultimate goal here?
Did you become friends with the Counting Crows guys?
Yeah, we were pretty close to them on that tour. I mean, don't talk to them now, but yeah, we had fun with them and we were hanging out a lot.
Sorry, I think there's a lag here.
Sorry,
John.
All good,
you were asking
dude.
a question.
All good. That's the beauty of the live show. Sometimes we get some laggy stuff here, but when the guest is on, talk over me because I have blabbermouth. So anything you could just go and complete what you were saying, because we had some lag. But go ahead, Clint. Whatever you want to do, say anything. Yeah, maybe we're having crazy.
Oh, I think you were asking me a question, actually.
Oh, yeah. So getting back to that. So I said you're 41, and I know that you do the music and the podcast thing. Is that the ultimate goal, is to just use your creative brain to kind of navigate through life?
I mean, I guess the ultimate goal is just to keep making a living, making music, supporting my family, trying to get off the road. I mean, like, I like touring. I've just been doing it for so long. I produced Morgan's last 2 albums. The one already came out. One's about to come out this summer. And so that was good. Producing a major label record, that's kind of opened some doors for me to produce more stuff in Nashville. I mean, I've got a 10-year-old. I like being home with my family. Yeah. Big family guy.
Yeah.
But I don't really have anything to pivot to at this point. So yeah, the goal is to definitely keep making music for sure. I mean, robots are going to be doing it all here very shortly. But I intend to make as much money as I can until then, for sure.
And so I'm not totally familiar with Morgan, but I went back and checked out some of her music. I mean, she's a beautiful, amazing singer. Is she country strictly? Is that's what she does? Just country music?
It's really, I mean, that's what Sony put us in for when her debut album came out, and she had a big hit on it called Wilder Days, and I think they were trying that, but we're not really like that. I mean, it's really more of like if it is country, it's more of the Jason Isbell, Sturgill Simpson, Chris Stapleton's. Her first record was produced by Jason's guitar player Sadler Vaden, who's very close with all of us, and it's really more of a Wallflower Sheryl Crow thing. So I don't think anyone's going to call Sheryl Crow country. But it does have a twang in it, It's more of like an alternative kind of Americana thing. So we toured last summer with Alanis and Joan Jett. We're touring this summer with Shinedown and Bush. Nice. And the record we just made is kind of more of a rock record. So I guess it's country music, but not really. You know what I mean? That's such an annoying answer.
Well, no, it's all right. It's country. I mean, country music is a broad category now,
Yeah, Beyonce is the Grammy winner of country music now. So I don't know what Post Malone's doing it now.
Right.
Everyone's making a fucking country album now. It makes me want to pull my hair out and move out of Nashville.
I hear that. Yeah. So she has a record coming out this summer, you said? Does she have a single out yet?
Yeah. We put out a single called East Coast while we just finished a club and theater headlining tour. So yeah, it was a single out called East Coast.
Nice.
I think the record comes out in August while we're out with Shinedown and Bush.
So you're playing fucking banging gigs like Joan Jett and Alanis Morissette fucking shows and Shinedown and Bush shows, and you're getting sick of the road, dude?
Well, you got to be on the road.
I've been doing it a long time.
You got to be away from the family.
I get it, but this sounds like, you'll never be happy or something.
Well, that's probably true.
Well,
also.
That's what makes you a great musician, maybe.
That's why we're musicians. I mean, the thing that I'm really looking forward to is we're playing every basketball arena in the country, and I'm a big basketball fan, cool. So I'm excited about that. And the guys that, our crew and our team are good people to be with. There's some other family people with us, but Chad, I'm sure Chad knows this. Like I've been to Boston 50 times. Yeah. I don't leave my hotel room anymore. You know what I mean? I don't really do drugs. I drink, but I'm slowing down on that because I'm getting old, and I really just want to watch basketball and be with my family. But you are right, John. I mean, I don't want to take it for granted. It's nice to be able to. I mean, shit. We just went to Cape Town, South Africa for gigs.
That's fun.
We were in Australia last year. We just did like a 10-day European run where we sold out a bunch of theaters over there. It's definitely more fun doing our own shows. When we're opening for people, they give you 35 minutes. You're done by 8:00, and then you're just wandering around the tunnels of an arena being like, what the fuck am I going to do? And I'm trying not to just drink until midnight. So the Alanis run was fun because I'm such a big fan that I just went out and watched almost every show, which I never do. I watched like 28 of her shows because the band was just so good, and she was so good, and the shows were so fun. And obviously watching Joan too. I mean,
legend.
You got to do a 35-date tour of the Living Legend.
Yeah, man.
And she would always, we always have the dressing room people would come seek out because everyone in our camp's so chill, but she'd come out and find us on a balcony and smoke a joint, Nice. We're like, oh my God, fucking Joan Jett's out here.
Dude, this sounds really like cool. A better girl tour than the fucking Lilith Fair tour back in the day. Remember that Lilith Fair?
Lilith, they called it the Triple Moon Tour because it was Alanis, Joan, and Morgan, and Alanis had this vision of it was a sort of kind of cool, witchy, female-driven, the three moons.
Oh wow!
And Joan representing like the, the wise sage battle. Alanis being the sort of middle period, and then Morgan being kind of the future, or whatever. So that tour was fun as hell, man.
And John, back to what you were saying about, you're on tour, like it's got to be cool. It's like, no, it is cool and it's fun, but at some point you're on the road with those people. You see Gavin Rossdale every day. You watch the show. You go from city to city that you've been to multiple times. Like you've done every tourist thing in those cities. You're just like, okay, I'd rather be fucking home with my kids. That's exactly where I was. But it's like you're blessed to do it and you love doing it, but also the travel is just a pain in the fucking ass.
Right. And it is a job. You know what I'm saying? You are going city to city. There's travel involved. It's tiring. You're fucking performing. It takes a lot out of you. I totally get it. I'm just saying, like, it, you know, there's, I guess, worse problems to have.
There's definitely worse problems. There's definitely worse jobs, worse problems to have. That is true. But the show, it was always great to do the shows. It's just the getting to the shows and like after the show and what you know.
Well, we always say that the show's 90 minutes of, you know, out of a 24-hour day. It's everything else, you know. That's really what you get paid for.
It's like,
and the thing about arenas is a lot of times, sometimes an arena is right in the middle of a city, but a lot of times they're a little outside.
Oh yeah.
So if you're playing, like we do clubs and theaters when we do our own shows, and those are so fun because you're playing the Moore Theater in Seattle, you're in the middle of everything. You can walk right out and go to the public market or whatever the fuck. If we're playing Webster Hall in New York or the Beacon in New York, we're a train ride away from anything.
Yes.
These arenas, you're just sort of tucked away. It's hard to get out. And because we're first of three, we don't really get as many, you know, we don't have runners. It's hard to get out of them sometimes, and you know.
Well, then throw in amphitheaters.
It does sound like I'm being a little bitch about
amphitheaters are even worse.
Yeah, for sure.
Amphitheaters are always outside of town. You're just like in the middle of freaking nowhere.
The most important question of the evening, Morgan, Clint, is Morgan single and ready to mingle?
I don't know much about her love life. I'll let that be that. I don't know.
Damn it.
You know, she's interesting because she's a very private lady. You know, I live on a bus with her, but she's pretty locked up. She's a sober person, but she's not annoying about it. She's on her own journey. She doesn't preach to people. And she's really into like fitness. So she's up every night. This is pretty weird, Chad. You'll appreciate this. I don't know how we find drivers who do this, but she works out at like 4 a.m. every day. So the bus usually rolls at like 1 from whatever we're doing. Yeah. So the bus driver stops at a gym wherever on the way to wherever we're going. Our tour manager maps all this out for her. She gets out, works out for an hour. Bus driver just lays in a bunk or does whatever. Every single day she stops at like 4 a.m. to work out.
I'm going to tell you
commitment right there.
Yeah. Let me tell you what this podcast has done for me and to me. So I've had this thing in my brain like, oh, rock stars are just living the life, man. Show's over. They're partying. This is going on. And now everybody I talk to, it's like, well, no, kind of after the show, I just go and fucking, but I'm like, what? This whole thing, like, where are the Led Zeppelins and the fucking of the world nowadays?
Canceled.
Yeah, that's
They're
true.
canceled.
That's true.
No, I mean, everything's recorded now. Everything's visible. And, you know, believe me, in my 20s, I'm sure Chad did too. I had some ring-a-ding tours there. I used to call them the Caligula tours. And once every 2 weeks, I'll have a Caligula type evening, just meaning I'll just drink a lot and stay up late with people.
Right.
Not actual Caligula shit. But yeah, mostly it's just trying to get rest and get sleep. One of the best things I ever did was I brought my wife I used to tour with a guy named Bob Schneider. And we had an extra bunk, and I brought my wife out for a week. And she was going to do a 2-week run with us because she's pretty cool. Everyone likes my wife. She's pretty chill. This is before we had a kid. But after 1 week, she was like, I want to go home. She was like, I had no idea how boring it is. And then we were doing a pretty lean club tour. So it was like 1 shower room a day, and you did not want to be the last person. And then every day, really, your day begins with just trying to find somewhere to take a shit. That's like that's how the day starts, is where am I going to poop today? And
no brown on the bus.
My wife was like, get me out of here.
No brown on the bus is a rule.
Always.
Exactly. So that was good because I think she had the idea that most people do, like you maybe did, John, where she's like, oh, you're just partying all the time. I'm stuck at home, blah, blah. And then she was like, that's just a lot of boring bullshit.
Yeah. Oh, my ex
until the show.
I was on vacation on the road. I'm like,
yeah.
Nope.
Well,
there are some. I mean, I remember did a gig once, a private event I used to play with a country guy named Rodney Atkins, and it was in like a Palm Springs type resort. We were in an infinity pool, and large-breasted ladies are bringing us margaritas into the pool.
Perfect.
And I did look at our bass player and I said, I'm probably not going to tell my wife. You know, like
some tickle bitties.
You know, the phone call home is like, oh God, I'm so homesick.
Yeah.
Another fucking hotel. You know, like we just have this whole joke where like you can hear like a conga line in the background. She's like, "Is that a conga line in the background?"
No.
Like, the TV's on, and then someone yells, "Get in here, Clint!" She's like, "Did someone just say your name?" Like, what?
No, honey, it's such an unhealthy city. Everybody here is fat and just eating KFC. It's you wouldn't want to be here,
right? Exactly, including me.
Yeah,
exactly.
So, one of our,
but I'll tell you what.
I was going to say, one of our watchers is Jamie Michelle is asking, "What's your favorite live song?"
Oh man,
if you have one.
Jesus. I would have to name like 5. They're all pretty much deep cuts. I mean, I'm a huge fan of, I like to Feel the Quiet River Rage. That was one of my favorite ones. If I had to pick one, I'd probably say that. I love, there's another esoteric slow jam on Distance to Hear. What are the slow ones? Not Dance With You. Oh, Facing Ghost.
Oh, yeah.
That's my favorite live song. Easily my favorite live song.
Wow.
There's a deep cut from Distance to Hear called Deeper.
Yes.
Did you ever hear it?
Oh, I have it. That and Vine Street.
Yeah, Vine Street's great too.
Dude, Deeper should have been on the album.
Well, it's funny because there was there were 3 or 4 other tracks that Chad wrote the guitar parts for that were way more rocking.
Don't Wait.
That were going to be on there on Distance to Hear, and when Ed ended up doing mastering and basically picking all the songs. And he took off all Chad's songs or whatever, the rocking ones. He was trying to make this more, what was the format called back then? AAA, no, not AAA. What was it?
AAA.
Yeah. Adult contemporary,
Hot
whatever.
AC or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. AC.
Yeah. He was trying to make the record more into that. And we're just like, what the fuck? But
dude,
I mean, there's still some great songs on it, but Deeper 100%. Was freaking awesome. I love Deeper.
And so was Don't Wait and Change. Like those 3 songs were I was like in love with them, dude. Like because I went to your Stone Pony show and got to hear some of these before the album came out. So we were kind of expecting that, you know what I'm saying? And then this year came out, it was still great, but those 3 songs, I think would have been the best songs on that album, to be honest.
I don't know if I know the other 2 you mentioned. I know Vine Street and Deeper. Yeah. I thought was Vine Street connected to that album?
Yeah, that was, I don't know did we record Vine Street?
I got it as a fucking Fans of Live like record for that album. It was that same year.
I'm trying to remember when did we record Vine Street for the 5 session?
No, that was pre-5.
Okay, so it had to be Distance to Hear then.
Yeah.
And was Distance to Hear the last record you guys did with Jerry?
Yes. Yeah, and we ended up doing the Gracious Few with Jerry, which was great.
Hell yeah! With him. Start to finish, that album kills.
Thank you.
Seriously, that was fucking. I wish you guys would fucking do a part 2 to that, man. That was fucking legit.
Yeah. That was the tour where, just like you were saying, Clint, just getting off we had one bus with everybody on it, the band and the crew. We would have like 2 shower rooms maybe, and trying to figure out where to shit in the morning, like. Where am I going?
That'll take it out of you.
Yeah, it was tough.
And the thing about partying too, to that point,
you're
also,
shitting.
like you can't really party when you're dealing with that.
No,
like you can't walk into that kind of day hungover. Like I'll do it, but you can't do it 5 days in a row. It's just, it just adds up. I hate to say
Clint,
it.
so the way we do it on this show is we always leave the audience wanting more. We introduce them, and then we have you back to kind of settle in and all that jazz. So we want to thank you for coming on. Can you tell the audience where they might be able to find you on social media or whatever you want to let them know?
Oh, God, social media. Well, I'm on Instagram and I'm on Twitter. I don't really engage much, but you can't find me there. I tour with a woman named Morgan Wade. We're on tour with Shinedown all summer. I've got a Metallica podcast called Metallica Podcast. It's going to have Chad Gracey on the podcast at some point.
Yeah, let's do it. We'll figure that out.
To tell a Metallica Marilyn Manson story. But I huge live fan, huge fan of you guys. Love the pod. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Thank you for coming on, man. It's awesome. We'll talk about bring me on the podcast, your podcast.
Yes.
All right, y'all have a good night.
Look forward to that one. You too,
Thanks,
Clint Wells, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Clint Wells. Morgan Wade, I believe what he was hinting at is single. He just didn't want to say she's a hooch.
Dude,
just
don't
kidding.
say that. Come on now.
Just kidding. Hey, I'm a comedian.
Get him in trouble, man. That's his boss.
I'm a comedian. I can say whatever I want. Thank you, audience, for coming on the show. This is 3 shows in a week, folks. I haven't had a proper day off since March 21st, literally. And what's going on a month.
Shit.
So we're canceling Tuesday's show. Just kidding. We'll be here Tuesday. And we're going to sneak in next week, I think, Chad. We're going to get an Instagram live. We were trying to do it this week.
Cool.
But again, we gave them so much content, we couldn't fit it in.
Hey, what do you do?
That's what she said. Thank you guys. Gracious Saturday. What's today?
Thanks, everyone. Hey, please like, subscribe, share, comment, all that good stuff.
Yes,
please.
Yes.
Spread the word.
And we're going to tell you to do that at the beginning of every show from now on, because we always try to. But share.
It's probably better at the end of the show. More people are watching than.
That's true.
People are straggling in.
I just figure, like, if they're not catching it live and they just like go to catch the replay, sometimes it'll start at the beginning. So if they hear, if they hear it right away,
we'll do both.
Yeah, we're just gonna say it throughout the whole show. Next week is gonna be please share, please follow, please share. We're not gonna talk about anything else. It's just the whole show, an hour and a half. All right, folks.
Who's our guest next week on Tuesday?
Not Jason. Hold on. It is holy shit, Ed Kowalczyk. This is crazy.
Oh wow, cool.
Flat Earth Dave, yes.
I'm excited. Shit. Yes, that'll be fun.
That will be fun.
Peace.
Later, audience.
Later.